Alright, in this part, we're going to actually have Abe wave his arm. So what I did was I went ahead and got rid of all my pins, but you don't have to. The reason I did that is so I can explain something that's very important to understand about animation. In After Effects or Flash or Lightwave or Maya or any application that offers animation, there's something called keyframes that the Puppet tool and other applications that offer animation use to move things around. A keyframe is simply something that changes over time in some fashion. And the way I typically like to explain it is by having you guys do something right along with me. So let's say that you have a cup on your desk, all right? And you're not looking at the cup. Currently, you're looking at the monitor. So that's the first keyframe, okay? The way you're sitting right now, don't move, because that is keyframe number 1. Keyframe number 2 is your neck turning and looking at the cup. So you've gone from keyframe 1, where your body was doing one thing, to keyframe 2, where your neck has now moved to look at the cup. Now in keyframe 3, you're going to keep looking at the cup, but you're now going to move your arm across from where it was to reach out for the cup. Then on keyframe 4, your hand is going to grab the cup, and on keyframe 5, your fingers will wrap around that cup. So keyframes are simply a change of some kind. It also applies to linear motion. So you have a spaceship that's on the ground on keyframe 1, then it takes off, that's keyframe 2, and then it powers up and goes in the warp and then zooms out of existence. So 1, 2, 3, gone. So keyframes are very, very vital in animation. And the reason we talk about that is because even though we're going to talk about a way for the pin to automatically move and add keyframes when you move it, those keyframes are still being generated, and I wanted you to know what was going on. Okay, so once again, I got rid of all my pins, but we're going to just focus on the arm. So I'm going to grab a couple of pins real fast, and I'm going to simply put them on the character so that these parts stay put, so I can just focus on his arm. So I'll put one right about here, and I'm going to put one here and here because I want to wave his arm. So I have to add one more at the wrist, and I'm going to animate this pin. All right, only this pin. Now, there's a cool thing in After Effects that allows you to record motion when you hold down a key on your keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Command or Control key, and you'll notice that my cursor is going to change from a pin, if you see here, to a stopwatch when I get very close to that pin. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'll let go of that key, and it becomes the Pen tool, and then when I get close to it, hold down Command or Control, and we get a stopwatch. Now what happens is, because we have some time in our composite whenever we bring in footage, it's going to start to record, and this current time indicator is going to move to the right as it records the motion. So ready? Here we go. Hold down Command or Control. When you see the stopwatch, click on the hand and slowly move it up and move it down and move it up again and move it down. Now while I'm doing this, please put your eyes on my timeline, and you'll see the current time indicator line moving to the right. It's recording the motion live. Alright, so I'll put his hand back here, and I'll let go of that key. Notice these lines here that show up. This is our motion path, and we have actual animation. I'm going to also show you that in the character here, the abe.png, we have a puppet effect, as you see here. So we have a puppet property that shows up down here, which is very handy as well. So we have keyframes, and the keyframes are right here, and they're on the mesh layer. Okay, so you see the keyframes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little mountain range picture here to zoom over to the right so you can see these little dots here. These are little keyframes that have been created for us as we move that around. Now what I can do to see this motion is just make sure this goes all the way to the left and manually move it to the right. So I'm just clicking and dragging, and Abe is waving at me. Hey man, What's up, Abe? Oh, Dwayne, you are the best ever. And that, my friends, is how you can use the puppet tool to record motion. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what about the rest of the character? What if I want him to laugh or anything? Not a problem. Just go to where you want the new motion to begin and go to your pen tool again. Click on your character and you'll see the pen show up. Grab another pen and hold down that same Command and Control key. And as you move the next part, you'll see your old animation play back at the same time. So now I'm going to have Abe laughing. He's so jolly. Oh, Dwayne, you're awesome. You're the best ever. So I'm going to go ahead and now we see when I let go of that Command and Control key, we have some new motion paths and we have a whole new set of keyframes. So let's go ahead and rewind. And Abe's laughing. Sometimes when I show people the puppet tool, their friends and family, they wonder why they don't talk to them anymore. Because they're now in After Effects playing around with the puppet tool and making everything that they have move around. It's that fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And Abe, let's go ahead and close this off. I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Ah ha 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 ha.